Now, there's something about working those night shifts all alone that can make even the bravest soul shiver a bit. Picture this, if you will. My name's Emily, an ordinary woman with a not-so-ordinary job. I'm a night shift security guard at an old historic building downtown. It's a grand structure, filled with history and tales from the past. But when the sun sets and the world goes to sleep, it takes on a whole different character. Every night as the clock strikes 10, I step into this colossal structure, armed with nothing but my flashlight and a steaming cup of coffee. The job is simple. Keep an eye on the place. Ensure nothing's out of the ordinary. But when you're all alone in a building that's seen more than a century of history, ordinary can be a tricky term to define. The echoes of my own footsteps often startle me as they bounce off the high ceilings and marble floors. The shadows cast by the dim emergency lights seem to dance and twist in ways that could make your heart pound. And the silence, oh the silence. It's not just the absence of sound, it's a living, breathing entity. It wraps around you, seeping into your bones, making every tick of the clock sound like the tolling of a bell. It's not just a job, it's a test of nerves, a dance with solitude. Every creak of the old wooden floors, every gust of wind that whistles through the cracks, every flicker of a light bulb, they all become magnified when you're alone in the silence. But I'm not one to scare easily. I've always been drawn to the mystery, the unknown. And there's a certain thrill, a certain allure to being the only soul awake in a sleeping building. So there I am, in the heart of the night, walking through the hallowed halls, flashlight in hand. I'm alone, but not lonely. I'm alert, but not afraid. I'm a guardian of the night, a sentinel in the silence. And as the night thickens, the silence becomes my only companion. On this particular night, as the clock ticks towards the witching hour, something on my security screen catches my eye. It's a face, but not just any face. It's a face in the cellar. Now, I ain't one to get spooked easily, but seeing that face staring right back at me through the camera, well, that's something that can make even the toughest skin crawl. At first, I reckon it's just a trick of the light, maybe a shadow playing tricks on my tired eyes. You know, the night shift can make you see all sorts of things, especially when you're all alone. But as I lean in closer, there it is, as plain as day, a face, right there in my cellar. Now, this ain't no ordinary face. It's pale, almost ghostly, with eyes that seem to pierce right through the screen. It's like it's staring right at me, and I can't seem to shake off the feeling that it knows I'm watching. The strange part? There's a sort of familiarity in its gaze, like an old friend you ain't seen in a long while. I blink, hoping it's just a figment of my imagination. But no, it's still there, staring, unblinking. I feel a cold shiver run down my back. The hairs on my arms stand on end. Fear? Maybe. Disbelief? Definitely. But there's something more. A curiosity that's gnawing at me, urging me to dig deeper. I look around the security room, half expecting someone to jump out and yell, "Gotcha!" But it's just me, alone with the unblinking eyes on the screen. My heart's pounding like a drum in my chest. My palms are sweaty, but I can't look away. It's like I'm drawn to it, to the mystery of the face in the cellar. A chill runs down my spine as I stare back at the face in the cellar. With a deep breath, I decide to investigate, steeling myself against the fear that threatens to consume me. The decision is made and there's no turning back. My heart pounds in my chest like a drum, the rhythm echoing the ticking of the clock that hangs on the wall. I can't shake off the eerie feeling, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. I begin my descent, each step towards the cellar amplifying my sense of dread. The air grows colder, the chill cutting through me like a knife. The floorboards creak beneath my weight, their protestations like whispers in the silence, each one a testament to the age of this building and the secrets it holds. As I draw closer, the smell of damp earth and musty air fills my nostrils. It's a smell that speaks of neglect, of a place forgotten by time. It's a smell that tells stories of its own, stories that make my skin crawl, stories that add to the symphony of fear that's playing in my mind. The cellar door looms ahead, an ominous figure in the dim light. It's old and worn, the paint peeling off in places, revealing the worn wood underneath. It stands as a harsh reminder of the reality of my situation. I am alone, in the dead of night, about to face the unknown. My hand reaches out, trembling, to grasp the cold metal doorknob. I twist it, the creak of the door echoing through the silence. A shiver runs down my spine, not from the cold, but from the anticipation of what lies beyond. The cellar is a cavernous space, filled with shadows that dance and sway with the flickering light from the lone bulb hanging from the ceiling. The air is thick, heavy with the weight of the unknown. It's a place that seems to swallow the light, leaving only darkness in its wake. As I stand at the entrance, I muster up the courage to step inside. The darkness beckons, inviting me to uncover its secrets. The fear is still there, a gnawing presence at the back of my mind, but I push it aside. I have to know. I have to find out what lurks in the shadows. There in the darkness, my flashlight reveals what I've been dreading. The face. It's not just any face. It's a face that sends shivers down your spine and freezes your blood cold. A face that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. A face that's not supposed to be there, staring back at me from the depths of the cellar. It's pale, almost ghostly, with eyes that are too large and too bright. They're the color of midnight, so dark they're almost black. They're glossy, like the surface of a still pond under the moonlight. They're staring, unblinking, right at me. The mouth is a thin, grim line, as if it has been etched on with a sharp blade, the skin taut over the cheekbones, giving it an eerie skeletal appearance. And the worst part is, it doesn't seem surprised to see me. It's as if it's been waiting, watching, knowing that I would eventually find it. It's like it's been expecting me. The terror and confusion that grip me are palpable, like a thick fog that settled in my mind. I feel like a mouse caught in the gaze of a snake, paralyzed by fear. I can't escape the feeling that the face is watching me. Not just watching, but studying me. It seems to see right through me, into my soul. I feel exposed, vulnerable. My heart beats like a drum in my chest, a frantic rhythm that echoes in the silence of the cellar. I don't know how long I stand there, staring into those dark, penetrating eyes. Time seems to have stopped, the world outside the cellar forgotten. I'm stuck in this nightmare, with the face in the cellar. I gather all the courage I can muster. My hand, shaking with fear, reaches out towards the face. The cold, damp cellar air wraps around my fingers as I extend my hand, inch by inch. My heart pounds in my chest as I reach out to touch it. As my fingers make contact, I reel back in surprise. It's not what I expected. My heart is still thumping like a jackrabbit, but the iron grip of fear starts to loosen. I'd reached out in the darkness, expecting to touch something cold, clammy, something alive. But what I found was nothing more than the rough texture of an old canvas. The face in the cellar, staring out from the gloom, was a painting. A piece of art so remarkably realistic it could have fooled anyone into thinking they were being watched. I let out a shaky sigh of relief, the tension in my shoulders easing. My fingers traced the outlines of the painted eyes, the brush strokes so detailed, so intricate, they'd managed to elicit such a primal fear in me. A painting, just a painting. I couldn't help but chuckle, the sound echoing through the cellar, bouncing off the walls. The adrenaline still pumping through my veins made me feel shaky, but there was a sense of exhilaration too. I'd faced my fear. I'd ventured into the unknown, into the darkness, and I'd come out the other side. Piecing together the puzzle, I remembered the stories of a previous tenant, an artist with a penchant for the macabre. This must be one of his forgotten pieces left behind in the cellar, a chilling reminder of the talent he possessed. I couldn't help but feel a touch of admiration for the artist. To create something so lifelike, so unnerving, it was a skill beyond my comprehension. But I also felt a twinge of annoyance. I'd been terrified, all because of a painting. But with the mystery solved, I felt lighter, my fear replaced with a sense of accomplishment. I'd faced the unknown and come out victorious, a victory I'd savor as I returned to my night shift, to the mundane tasks that suddenly didn't seem so bad. And just like that, the mystery of the face in the cellar is solved, but I reckon I won't be forgetting this night shift anytime soon. Y'all, we're wrapping up here, but don't you go anywhere just yet. Show some love, hit that like button. Fancy more content like this? Go on, subscribe and let that bell icon ring so you won't miss a beat. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, sharing is caring. Until next time, stay tuned.